Let's talk about what affects histamine. Also, what other things can actually cause histamine levels to be high as well that you probably haven't thought about. Okay, EMF. So like the electromagnetic frequency that's coming from this phone, coming from a television, coming from our computers, can cause mast cells to actually release and break open. Okay, so not keeping your phone on your person, decreasing your laptop time or your television time, removing the router from your room, okay, or even shutting it off at night could be helpful too. And as I mentioned before, meat in general is high in histamine. Meat has a amino acid called histidine that can be converted or broken down into histamine. Okay, so eating a lot of meat, okay, which is why I recommend a plant-based lifestyle. Okay, I mentioned the foods that are high in histamine as well. A lot of them are what people would consider health foods too, like kombucha. You got to remember, kombucha is actually a fermentation process, increases histamine. Also dried fruits, so you may want to stay away from those as well. Smoked meats, processed meats. Also gut dysbiosis. When you have gut issues or you don't have enough healthy good bacteria in the gut, that definitely can affect your histamine levels. Leaky gut. So I mentioned this in previous video, and I really need to do a video just on leaky gut, but your gut is like this. So it's kind of like really collapsed, and it only lets vital nutrients through. So not full food, okay? It only lets vitamins, minerals, trace elements, amino acids, glucose, things of that nature. It lets things that are going out into the blood. But when you start to get a leaky gut, now that gut goes from this to now it's leaky. It has holes in it. Now things are leaky. So let's say a microparticle of, avocado, crosses the blood barrier. The immune system is sitting right outside of the gut because that's where it knows, how we introduce things to the body. Okay, we eat. That's primarily how we put things outside in the body. So as soon as the immune system is sitting outside, sees that piece of, avocado or whatever it may be, a piece of fruit coming across in a food particle instead of just the nutrients that are in that food particle, the immune system will shoot it, put a tag on it. And as a result, now that tag will say, essentially, it will create antibodies and lead to a food allergy, okay? So gut dysbiosis and leaky gut can definitely lead to that as well, okay? And let me talk a little bit about, because most people's solution to allergies is to take either over-the-counter or prescription antihistamines. But a few of those side effects are going to include things like drowsiness. As I said before, histamine is involved in the sleep-wake cycle. Antihistamines also can increase high blood pressure and also increase the heart rate. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. And it also can dry out your mucous membranes. Okay, remember, you need a certain level of mucus to coat your sinuses. Otherwise, they dry out and they start to bleed. Okay, same thing in your gut. You have a mucous membrane in your gut. It's important to capture things. It's important to be a lubricating layer there. And when you take an antihistamine, it's going to dry out all your mucous membranes. Okay, it may stop the runny nose and the eyes, but then it dries them out too. Now you got dry eyes and you got a dry nose, and you'll get a nosebleed. Okay, so let's talk about some natural solutions, and then we're going to wrap this up. Okay. One of the natural solutions that I've seen work pretty good for people is a shrub or plant called Butter Burr. Okay, Butter Burr is this big leaf that you literally used to wrap things up in. So you can wrap up some spices or herbs, or particularly they used to wrap up butter inside of this leaf. Okay, during the winter. Okay, to keep it sort of stored. And so that's why they call it Butter Burr, okay? Winter butter. So Butter Burr is a good supplement to take. In a European study, they found that it was just as effective as Zyrtec and Allegra, okay? In a European study. Another thing is eliminate all these foods that I just talked about. I talked about the peanuts, the tree nuts, wheat, soy, especially fish and shellfish, dairy, eggs, meat, high-histamine, which could lead to the breakdown and become of histamine. So getting rid of processed foods, things of that nature, fermented beverages like alcohol and kombucha. So elimination, okay? You gotta eliminate and then slowly add back the things like maybe you do like nuts. You can add those back and see if that works. And if your allergies go crazy, then you know that's not for you, okay? But elimination is very key. None of these suggestions will work if you're still putting these things in your body. And that's what people forget to tell those who are suffering from allergies, okay? Don't eat leftovers, okay? I would refrain from eating leftovers because, as I say, as the food begins to break down, it's creating histamine, okay? Fasting, specifically intermittent fasting, giving your gut an opportunity to rest gives your gut an opportunity to heal, okay? Remember, we talked a little bit about that leaky gut. Well, one of the key things that can heal the gut is actually giving it rest. I talk about this in my book, Vegetation Over Medication. I have an entire chapter dedicated to digestive rest and the importance of it in the healing process, because most of our healing actually comes through our gut, begins and ends with our gut. Also, vitamin D levels. 70% of the population, especially our Black and brown sisters and brothers, have a vitamin D deficiency. I've met people who had a vitamin D level of 8. It needs to be above 50, not above 25. So they say therapeutic is 25. And they say, super therapeutic is above 50. Well, if you look at lifeguards, they can have vitamin D levels close to 100, okay? Because they're getting so much sunlight, okay? That's really, our vitamin D levels should be between a 50 and 100 because we're made to be outside. Again, we develop as human beings being outside, working outside, not being inside. But vitamin D helps to regulate T regulatory cells, which regulates the immune system. It's like a joystick for the immune system, vitamin D is. And vitamin D is a hormone, not an actual vitamin. We'll get into that again in another episode. Check the pollen levels before you go out. In the meantime, while you're in the healing phase, check the pollen levels. And when you go out, close the windows on your cars when you're driving, shower more often. Put air filters in your home, change the air filter as well too. Also nasal irrigation. So you can get these saline nasal irrigation devices that'll clean out your sinuses as well too. So those are very helpful. Nettle root, stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is very good because it's anti-inflammatory. And remember what I said, the immune system is causing your body to become inflamed, okay? As an attempt to help with something you actually really don't need help with, okay? And then also a supplement over the counter could be NAC. NAC, it helps to thin the mucus, okay? And it decreases congestion. And then other supplements could be quercetin. And a lot of people take between 400 and 600 milligrams. But what I truly recommend is adopting more of an alkaline diet. Start to detox, because detoxification can heal the gut. You can get all the waste out of the gut. Most people have between 10 and 25 pounds of undigested fecal matter rotting and fermenting in their gut. If something is rotting and fermenting, meaning you got waste in your gut that was supposed to go out. Most people eat 3 meals a day, but they don't have 3 bowel movements, okay? So a lot of that waste is left behind and it accumulates. This is why I'm saying, but people have between 10 and 25 pounds of undigested fecal matter sitting in their gut, rotting and fermenting. The fermentation process creates more histamine in the body, okay? So detoxification is a major key. And for those who have done my detox, you can kind of tap in the comments and let people know how slim your waist got, how healthier your digestion got, how it improved your skin, how it improved your sinuses, things of that nature. So tap in below if you experience that. And so those are just a few of the things I think will work really good for you. Start with that. Remember, nothing works unless you do. So do not do any of these things if you're not willing to eliminate a lot of the primary issues, which is the food, possibly, putting the dog or cat in a specific room in the house, and definitely not letting them sleep on your bed, things of that nature. But I think these things will be a major key for you to help you in your allergy journey, or help somebody you know and love in their allergy journey as well too.